Hall. I don't want to sing the anthem myself. So Mr. Hall isn't here. All right, well, if Mr. Hall is not here, then we're going to sing all together. So I invite us all to please stand at this time. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely proud to be a Jamaican, and every time I travel, I tell people I am 100% Jamaican. And every time I sing the national anthem, I feel absolutely blessed to be a member of the best country in the world, bar none. Am I right or am I right? Exactly. So at this time, we're going to sing our national anthem with our chests out first. Sing it proudly and loudly. All right, after three, one, two, three. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defenders, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all, stern response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak to cherish. Give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Thank you so much. I ask that we keep standing as we invite Mr. Willard Costley, manager for the Urban Taxi and Tours, to come forward to bring prayer.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, colleagues. Good morning, ministers, heads of departments, managing director, everyone. Good morning. Now bow our heads, please, as we reverence to the Almighty. Most holy and eternal Father, we gathered here not by our own consent, but because you have inspired us to be here. You have seen and you understand what we are about. And eternal Father, we know you can manage. We give you thanks, eternal Father, for the strength for us to be here today. We give you thanks for the vision that you have inspired in our leaders. We give you also the commitment that our persons have made. We give thanks for it. And we're giving you thanks for many other things, for taking us here, for keeping us alive. Father, we are asking you also, as we have no doubt that you will change this industry into what it ought to be and not what it is at this time. We ask that you give vision to the leaders, that they'll understand that not only rules and regulation, but that compromising and recognizing each and every member's rights in this industry as we move forward. As we look for modernization, eternal Father, we ask for it from every corner of Jamaica. We ask that the workers, the operators, the passengers, the leaders and the rulers considered what modernization is and give it to us. Let us all combine together, Father, as we lift our hearts to you and as we look forward to you, that you will give us the strength to do the right thing when we are operating, when we are instructing, and when we are abiding in all fares. Bless us. Grant us privilege that when we leave here today, eternal God, we will see the sector in a different way as it will be led, not by us, eternal God, but by you through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. We ask as we say thanks and amen in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen. God is good. And all the time, Mr. Willard, that pearl, let me tell you, I could have collected an offering right after that one. Thank you so much, sir, for offering such great words to the ears of our Almighty God. As without him, we would not be here today, and without him, nothing at all is possible, and with him, nothing is impossible. So, the Transport Authority, ladies and gentlemen, extends its heartfelt greetings as we come together to explore innovative strategies and solutions that will shape the future of public transportation on our beautiful island, Jamaica. And at this time, allow me please to acknowledge a few key partners, players, leaders in this industry. Without them, today would not be possible. Our Honorable Daryl Vaz, MP, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport. Good morning to you, sir. Yes, you are able to give the minister a hearty round of applause if you do desire to do that. The Honorable Desmond McKenzie, CDMP, JP, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. Good morning to you, sir. The Honorable Williams James Charles, JC Hutchinson, CDMP, Minister of State in the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport, who I do believe where are you, sir? If he's not here, he's going to be joining us shortly. His chair is right there. Mr. Mikhail Phillips, MP, Opposition Spokesperson on Transport and Works. Members of the Board of Directors. We also have with us our Managing Director for the Transport Authority, Mr. Ralston Smith. ACP Gary McKenzie, Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, representing Major General Anthony Anderson, CDJP, Commissioner of Police. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir. Mr. Daniel Dawes, member of the Board of Transport Authority, representing the chairman of the board, Mr. Joseph Shukir. Thank you so much for being here with us. The management and the staff, yes, please, of the Transport Authority. And we also want to welcome His Worship, the mayors, Councillor Winston Mirage. I don't see Sir Mirage just yet. I believe he's probably on the highway coming up. Mr. Winston Mirage, Mayor of Clarendon Municipality Council. Councillor Derek Sangster, Mayor of the St. Elizabeth Municipality Council. Councillor Leon Thomas, Mayor of Portmore Municipality Council. Chief Executive Officers of various municipal corporations. Stakeholder groups, thank you so much for being here with us. Taxi Association members, companies, contract carriages, and I want you all to please put your hands together, please, for our Taxi Association members, or taxi companies, or contract carriages. The umbrella groups represented here this morning are Transport Order and Development, Sustainable Services, the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators, who are here with us, the National Council of Taxi Association, the All Voice Transportation Association, and we also have with us, yes, please put your hands together for our umbrella groups. And bear with me, please. I want to just mention and welcome everybody who is here. So bear with me. We also have some exhibitors in the house from the Ministry of Justice, the National Housing Trust, the Road Safety Unit, First Care Medical Plan. We also like to welcome other specially invited guests, members of the media. I mentioned earlier on, and I do see Mellow in the house, and they're doing a live broadcast. So we say welcome to the listeners there on Mellow FM. I also see our favorite afternoon personality, the Burger Man. He's in the house somewhere. And I know our taxi operators, they love the Burger Man, right? A character, and it's him there on the back, waving his hands. He's here in the house. And my other media colleagues, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, in a rapidly evolving world, and we can imagine how rapid it is. We all are on social media, so we see it every day. It's almost like life is running away from us. The significance of sustainability and sustainable mobility, it cannot be overstated. So as our nation progresses and our population grows, The demands on our transportation systems, it continues to rise to these challenges, and it only can rise with a forward-thinking approach, one that not only enhances the efficiency and convenience, but also prioritizes the preservation of our environment and the well-being of our communities and our people and the major players. So the Transport Authority of Jamaica believes that by embracing innovation, leveraging emerging technologies, and fostering collaboration between public and private stakeholders, we can create a sustainable transportation ecosystem that is efficient, accessible, and environmentally friendly. So today marks a platform bringing together experts, industry players, policymakers, visionaries to share their insights and experiences and also best practices. And it is an opportunity for us to engage in meaningful discussions. We forge new partnerships and explore cutting edge solutions that will reshape the future of public transportation in Jamaica, because indeed we are moving. Do you believe that we're moving? Yes, we are moving indeed. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having discussions that surrounds a number of key areas. We're talking about new and emerging trends, driving and enabling change through technology, the new Transport Authority Act and regulations, transforming the PPV sector, and much more. So without further ado, because we have a full day of activities, discussions, and so much more, I'd like to ask at this time Mr. Daniel Dawes, JP, board member representing Mr. Joseph Shakir, a chairman for the Transport Authority, to come forward to bring his welcome. Please make him welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam MC, and a special morning to one and all. Hey. I'm seeing members of the past board, E.G. Hunter, ECP Mackenzie. Are there any other? Oh, yes, Madam Sampson. So, Master of Ceremonies, Mrs. Sorry. Miss Debbie Bissoon. Bissoon, okay, Bissoon. Minister, the Honorable Daryl Vaz, MP, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport. The Honorable Desmond McKenzie, CD, MP, JP, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. The Honorable J.C. Hutchinson, CD, MP, Minister of State in the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport. Members of the board, Mr. Ralston Simmet, Managing Director, Transport Authority, ACP Gary McKenzie, who is a current board member and representing the Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, CDJP. His Worship, the Mayors, Councillor Winston Mirage, Councillor Derek Sangster, Councillor Leon Thomas, Chief Executive Officers of the various corporations, management and staff of the Transport Authority, stakeholder groups, taxi association members, contract carrier operators, and of course, our umbrella groups, Transport Order and Development Sustainable Services, Jamaica Associations of Transport Owners and Operators, National Council of Taxi Association, and certainly One Voice Transportation Association. Our exhibitors, Ministry of Justice, National Housing Trust, Road Safety Unit, First Care Medical Plan, and our media. A special good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning with you in this very special forum. Today makes another milestone for this very important government institution, the Transport Authority. That is, as we come together to have a fulsome discussion and collaboration on ways in which we can all work together to realize the world-class transportation sector for which we all strive. And so the theme, modernizing public transportation for a sustainable future, is indicative of the government, the board of directors, and the authorities' resolve to ensure that Jamaicans have a safe and reliable public passenger transportation sector. Today, we have several preliminaries in which these topics will be discussed and recommendations made that are expected to be formulated into policies and legislations as may be required, including the new Transport Authority Act and regulations, driving and enabling change through technology, and the new and emerging trends within the sector, and certainly transforming the public passenger vehicle sector. Now, over the years, the sector has been showing growth without any question, not just in terms of numbers of vehicles and numbers of passengers carried, but more importantly, in terms of the kind of leadership that is being provided. Now, this is evident as being significant in the reduction of, and we must all agree, the reduction in protest action by operators and sector leaders, and an overwhelmed improvement in our willingness to dialogue and consult, And as we seek to modernize the public passenger transport sector for a sustainable future, let us build on these gains and that we would have achieved. Let us continue to promote the atmosphere of dialogue, consultation, and cooperation. The presentation of certificates to our taxi association today is a show of the strides that we would have made in recent time. This, I assure you, will continue. And so I say special thanks to the following presenters who have so kindly volunteered to present on their areas of expertise. Mr. Aldo Antonio, Chairman of the National Transport Alliance Group. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Lennox Robinson, CEO of the Norbrook Transportation Service. Mr. Alfonso Grinnell of the Grinnell Driving School. Mr. Nicholas Taylor of the Senior Weight Enforcement Officer at the Island Traffic Authority. Miss Jody J. Todd of the Island Traffic Authority. Mr. Vernal Walters, General Manager, Management Information Systems at the Transport Authority. Miss Anne-Marie Jordan, Senior Legal Officer, Transport Authority. Miss Joan Winter, Transport Authority Consultant. Mr. Michael Sanderson, Traffic Engineer at the National Works Agency. Dr. Kenneth our knife, Director of the Office of Social Entrepreneurship and Youth Crime Watch. And finally, Mrs. Georgia Redway, Acting Deputy Managing Director, Operations at the Jamaica Urban Transport Company. Give her a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let me indicate that the Board of Directors, management, and staff of the Transport Authority are committed to Vision 2030. And that is for the development of a strong economic infrastructure through the expansion and improvement of systems for public land transportation service. We therefore wholeheartedly welcome you once again to this historical event, and we anticipate the continuation of this great consultation, this great partnership, and certainly this great collaboration. Do have a great and blessed day.
And we say thank you so much to Mr. Daryl Vaz. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please once more give him a round of applause? And Sir Dawes, please extend our gratitude to Mr. Joseph Shakir for sending able representation. Thank you so much for your words, sir. And as Mr. Dawes says, it's important for us to work together as we continue to explore ways that we can turn our public transportation system into a world-class one that we can be proud of. It is absolutely important that we continue to foster this atmosphere of dialogue and consultation and learn how we can actually move our transportation systems forward. Very happy to hear, sir, that, of course, we are all still committed to Vision 2030. And for a lot of us, we think Vision 2030 is a long ways away, but trust me, who would have thunk that we would be in 2023, right? So we know we have some catching up to do because really and truly we want our children to have a better experience. I remember times, I'm from Clarendon, Hayes to be specific, that we're out there at the front waiting. You know what I mean? Waiting. And then sometimes you have some persons passing by and then both the car with the AC on and you're like, Lord, please, somebody just stop and pick me up, please. But the truth is we've had some very reliable taxi operators in that area as well. Persons who we could commit, who were committed to making sure that we reached home safely as young children leaving from choir practice from Clarendon College hours in the evening. And they would wait on us, So they've been a big part of our development. And so we, of course, want to ensure that we're doing all that we can right now where we are with the technologies available to us, that we can ensure that our transportation system is moving with the rest of the world to continue ensuring that Jamaica feels safe and feels that we have the right access, feels that our needs are being met across the board. So we say thanks again, Mr. Dawes, for bringing that welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we hear words like modernization, it's still a little word that's making a lot of us uncomfortable. We're very uncomfortable when we hear about technology because we're feeling for most of us like something is going to leave most of us behind, right? Because we don't have the kind of access. Right now, we're still trying to understand things like, online banking. For a lot of us, there are still some people in Jamaica. I say it all the time that Kingston and Montego Bay is not Jamaica. And so there are still some parishes that are still in need of even internet access, So still some persons out there who still needs to know how to set up an email address. There is still some work left to be done. So when we hear things like modernizing, of course, our transportation sector for a sustainable future, people may get a little antsy. Will we be able to understand this new level? So to set the context for the conference and to help us to understand better what we are here indeed to do, we're going to invite our Managing Director for the Transport Authority, Mr. Ralston Smith, to come forward to set the context for today's proceedings. Please make him welcome.
Master of Ceremonies, Miss Debbie Bissoon. I won't make the mistake of calling you Mrs. Of course, you're not your mother. Thank you, Minister. All protocols observed. Let me say welcome to our transportation conference under the theme Modernizing Public Transportation for a Sustainable Future. I want to express my profound gratitude to Ms. Merdina Cullum and her committee that was tasked in putting this conference together. I think so far they have done a good job. I'd like you to put your hands together and thank them. The public transportation sector in Jamaica is home to just over 33,000 licensees. This means that we have issued various types of road licenses to just over 33,000 investors who in turn employ thousands of Jamaicans to provide orderly, safe, and efficient public transportation services to the public. This, of course, is augmented by the provision of service by the JUTC, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, in the Kingston Metropolitan Region under an exclusive license, as well as the Montego Bay Metro operating out of Montego Bay in the MMR region. Road taxi, contract carriage, and acne carriage are the main service modes occupying the lion's share of our license distribution, accounting for 58.5%, 19%, and 18.5% respectively. While these three categories of license account for 96% of our license portfolio, stage and express carriage must not be overlooked. They have combined together to provide just 4% of the licensing portfolio. But because of the sheer volume of persons that stage and express carriage carry, this is an important particular group. I say to you that it is either by design or destiny that this transportation conference is taking place at this time. My friends, I submit to the latter. We have a new minister at the helm, and we are supremely confident that he will, in his own inimitable style, work assiduously in ensuring that the ideas emanating from this conference will help in the policy formation of his transportation portfolio, while we at the Transport Authority commit to developing and implementing strategies. In retrospect, while the economies of the world were brought to a standstill at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, some of the most dramatic impacts were felt in public transportation, starting with job losses, reduction in passenger flow, decline in revenue, among a host of other things. And this was accompanied by much needed regulation that gave effect to the reduction of the carrying capacity of taxis by one passenger under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Statistics have shown that during the heights of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, global road transport activity went down by as much as 50%, while air traffic demand fell by as much as 67%. It is safe to say that the public passenger transport sector is a resilient one, and so much so that vehicular traffic and passenger movement have now exceeded pre-COVID levels. Public transportation is more than a social good. It is more than just moving people from point A to point B. For me, it is an interconnected web that facilitates the movement of people, goods, and services for the advancement of the society as a whole. Public transportation affects every area of our society and the economy. Therefore, it stands to reason that we must work together to find the most efficient and productive model. Among the things that we must do is to accelerate the decarbonization of the entire transport sector to reduce carbon emission or carbon footprint and promote efficiency that support climate change. We must seek to upgrade and modernize the fleet. We should examine the age limit policy that currently exists, and we must seek to conduct research in the utility of electric vehicles. We must also invest in training and development of the operators. Investors and sector leaders should conduct research and make submissions to the relevant arms of government to incentivize clean transport options, including standard, taxation, tax relief, the policy that the government has in place now, treating with the importation of 8-year-old vehicle, is a good model to start on that can be modified and adopted for something much more exciting. I want to speak a little bit about the role of the regulator vis-a-vis the role of the investor. The principal role of the regulator is to facilitate business within the context of established laws, rules, and regulations. When compared to the role of the investor, we see that the investor's key survival attribute lies in his ability to innovate and create. Public transportation services are not provided in a vacuum. Its service provision is governed by laws and regulations that are established with dual purposes. One of them is to protect the investor. The other is to safeguard the rights and interests of the commuting public. Placed in proper context, the investor must seek out ways to innovate and provide cutting-edge services and solutions to its customers. As investors and leaders, I charge you, therefore, to be bold and innovative in doing the market research on vehicles as well as the needs of your customers. Have the conversation with your regulator in respect of how these services can be legally provided. We must work together to make the system agile so that it can respond to changes and new demands. As investors, you must shift your thinking. You must begin to research and design applications that will help to improve your service offerings. I know, I've been told by a little birdie that there is no concluding this particular forum without having a conversation or discussion on fare structure. In fact, I've been told that any attempt so to do could be considered by somebody to be sacrilege. And so, it is very topical out there, this whole matter of fare increase. We would have seen applications on the market that allow for the passengers to price their fare. When engaged in a chartered arrangement, these features are both exciting and enticing for the customer. The question, therefore, is whether or not our fare structure, particularly as it regards contract and hackney carriage, should stand on the legs of flexibility and agility. If the answer to this question is yes, then we must carefully and purposefully design its feature. Quite topically is the whole matter of fare adjustments returning to the office of the OUR. I caution you that these decisions, these are far-reaching decisions that has implication. Let us not rush, but think on these things carefully and logically. In giving context to this transport conference, the idea is to have discussion on a number of challenges facing the public passenger transportation sector, put forward solutions, and identify opportunities that will support the advancement of a modernized public transportation sector. And so, 4 plenary sessions will be held simultaneously with sharp focus on issues and possible solutions. We are cognizant of the fact that this conference is not a panacea for all the challenges facing the sector. Notwithstanding this, however, we remain steadfast and immovable in our belief that this conference will act as a catalyst for transforming the sector by turning ideas into effect. Rest assured that this transportation conference aims to set the tone for a new strategic development for the sustainable future of public transportation. I charge you, therefore, to be bold in your discussion in the pursuit of excellence. Vision 2030 is around the corner. Let's meet it. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ralston Smith, Managing Director for the Transport Authority. Can you put your hands together again, please, for Mr. Smith? Thank you so much, sir, for setting the context for the conference. And indeed, we want to say thank you to the Transport Authority for always regulating with vision. And we are very happy that we've come together once more to have the conversations necessary as we push our transport system forward in our country. Now, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to invite to the podium Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Gary McKenzie, Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, representing Major General Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police, to bring remarks. Please make him welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Let me take heed and acknowledge all the protocols and adopt them. Good morning, everyone. It is a very good day. Will you say that? Very well. So let me first of all bring greetings to everyone on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, who is not here today. And so I will be brief in my remark and attempt to ensure that I represent properly what the Commissioner would have wanted me to say. The JCF is a key stakeholder as it relates to partnering with the Transport Authority in the monitoring and regulation of public transportation. When I reflected, Managing Director, on your theme, modernizing public transformation for a sustainable future, it resonated with me, and I'm quite sure with my colleagues who are here. And the reason for this is that when we look at the population, about 70% of the population depends on public transportation. And even though the Transport Authority, I must hasten to say, is not all about public transportation, but of course regulates the commercial sector. And I'm quite sure that a forum such as this may be planned very soon to treat with the commercial sector. But since the focus for today is on public transportation, it is absolutely necessary for us to understand the importance of it. Taxis, buses move people daily, and they move persons right across Jamaica. And one of the things that we do, apart from supporting the monitoring and regulating of these vehicles or these groups, we actually look at what obtains in terms of how they operate, what are the things we have to prosecute for, of course, and we actually analyze crashes and other things that they may be involved in. It was quite revealing to know that 33,000, that is official taxis, are actually out there. And we know that we could actually double that in terms of what we have to deal with as it relates to moving passengers. But let us stick with the official figure. What we have noted so far is that public passenger vehicles have been involved in about 13% of fatal crashes, and a little more than that as it relates to injuries. Now, one of the things that was said by the managing director, and I am really very pleased and agree with it, is that as owners and operators of public passenger vehicles, it is very important that you consistently look at the service that is offered. And I know what is happening out there. I know that when you drive for profit, all the stresses that comes with it. And there are a lot of things, a lot of moving parts that other entities have to come in and actually do to ensure that your operations are able to go smoothly. Notwithstanding that, it is very important that within the context of the environment that we all operate, we do so within the confines of the law. In terms of modernizing the public transportation sector, there are three things that we have to keep focus on. We have to continue to examine what legislation is doing. And of course, we are very happy that there is the new Road Traffic Act. And I know that, there is still some reviews. And we know that the Transport Authority Act and regulation is also being reviewed. But all of that is done to ensure that not only the public transportation sector, but of course, all road users are able to travel safely. Technology is important. We will not be able to provide all the booths to be everywhere. And so as the Transport Authority develop and modernize, technology will play a key role. Of course, I am aware of what is happening as it relates to that. And we look forward because there is no way that we will have situations out there where we have to be following around everyone. Appropriately trained practitioners, that is very important. I think that we have not trained enough persons in all the areas that we need to, but we have done quite a bit of work in that regard. And so we have to continue with that. Finally, as a police officer, and of course, a person who works very closely with the Transport Authority, we have to ensure that lives are saved on the roadways. We have to ensure that all our operations seek to provide the network, the roadways, to be in a way that we are able to travel safely and you are able to benefit. And so as we continue the growth, it is very much imperative that the Transport Authority, as the leading sector in terms of monitoring and regulating public transport, that they continue to do so. This conference is a very good one. I recognize the expertise that have been put together, and I am quite sure that at the end of today, the benefits will be substantial and it will be a good catalyst from which we all can move forward. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you so much to Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Gary McKenzie, for the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, representing our Major General, Mr. Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, sir. Thank you for bringing your remarks. Indeed, this conference could not have happened without you being involved, and so we say thanks for bringing those greetings. As a matter of housekeeping, we're asking everyone at this time to kindly put your phones on silent. Thank you, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to just look at your devices real quickly to make sure that they are indeed on silent, please. And we're also asking that if you do have a call coming in, that you are welcome to, of course, exit the room at the back or right here to ensure that you, of course, get to speak on your device outside of the room. Also, would like to apologize on behalf of the Honorable William James Charles J.C. Hutchinson, who he is unavoidably absent. He is dealing with an emergency in his constituency, and so he sends his regrets, but is very, very happy that we are here this morning. As we continue, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll be hearing from the opposition spokesperson for the Ministry of Transport and Works. Please make him welcome, Mr. Mikhail Phillips, MP.
Thank you, Debbie. Let me, all protocols observed. But I have to say that it is good to be here and to seeing that I've been shadowing the Ministry of Transport for the last 6 years to welcome the new minister. And also newly minted managing director. Yeah? And it is good to see all the partners in transport in one room, from the insurance agents to brokers to the CEO of the agency that owns the potholes. Mr. Hunter knows that he could get away from that one. Yeah. But it is really a pleasure because I've been saying for a long time that we need all the partners at the table to advance transport. It is a pleasure to participate in today's conference organized by the Transport Authority to analyze the public transportation sector and to make recommendations for improvements
and development for a sustainable future. Today's conference is timely and hopefully an answer to the skeptics who think that those involved in transport have not been thoughtful enough to examine the realities and devising a sustainable and creative policy approach for the over 1.5 million Jamaicans who are public transport dependent. I submit that this exercise is of extreme importance as the movement of people and goods is critical to the advancement of Jamaica's economic prospects in a globally competitive environment. It should never be forgotten that transport systems support complex social and economic interactions and reflect aspirations of a society such as accessibility and mobility, which expand horizons. It is not a mere hustle, but an integral part of the society and its economy. Jamaica's public transport system needs a medium and long-term plan of 5 to 10 years to be complementary to our social and economic activities in the country. We want to be ideal to live, work, and raise our families in this country, Jamaica land we love. Transport contributes 4% of the GDP of the economy. The basket of goods and services used by Statin to measure the movement in the consumer price index weighs transportation at 11.2% of total consumption. It is the second largest component of the consumption used in the CPI basket. So transport is not only the movement of people and goods, it also contributes significantly to the country's productivity and quality of life. What, therefore, is our vision for public transport? How can we use the sector as a contributing factor to increase the country's productivity? The truth is, we have been moving backwards. We have experimented with many systems, from the JOS to single operators to a franchise system in the 90s to the present Jamaica Urban Transit Company. Policy deficiencies, including lack of financial resources and an absence of vision, have led to the demise of most, and we are almost back at square one. Things are rapidly going back to the past. A new direction is badly needed to take Jamaica's transport sector forward to achieve global standards. Any transport study will tell you that the governments give public transport the same priority as all other social functions because it is a reasonable reflection of the overall society and can influence the priorities of the country. Public transport must have sustainability, values, benefits, and capacity. We are badly in need of a national plan for transport, Minister. The plan must involve all players, as we have started here, in the sector together, representing the taxi associations, the JUTC, transport authorities, the police, the private sector, and government, and including the opposition, because I'm willing to sit at that table. Everyone must be at the table representing their inputs and developing this plan so that no matter which administration comes to office, there will be a roadmap to an improved, if not ideal, national public transport sector for the country. This is not political. This is for the development of our country. We have very cogent policies and action programs to be implemented once we form the next administration. The truth is that we have no difficulty in sharing and discussing them. And I look forward to sitting with the minister to work on this, even as an opposition member, because this is a national issue, so that all stakeholders can put themselves in a position to be active participants and service providers. One of the hot button issues is that in 2016, there were 2,000 hackney carriage licenses. And by 2023, it has climbed to 6,500 in Kingston and St. Andrew alone. That is why we are bursting at the seams. Safety is compromised, driving habits are dangerous, and there's no infrastructure to accommodate the increase of over 300%. The system must be urgently rationalized. Most Hackney carriages now operate like route taxis. There are limited parking locations, providing a safe environment for operators and commuters in the process of picking up and setting down passengers. Poor governance from the regulator, and little or no policy direction from the government on the crisis. Transportation infrastructure such as taxi parking areas is limited or non-existent in several towns and the KMTR, and the enforcement capacity of the Transport Authority have not grown to regulate the license holders adequately. This is not a blame game, but it is a reality. Another issue is that while bus fares for school children and the elderly are subsidized in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, and I can say this as a rural MP, it is not the same in rural parishes. The estimated $11 billion operating loss at the JUTC this financial year, plus the $7 billion subvention, is unfair and unacceptable to rural people as they get no such subsidy. As a government, we will further address rural students, workers, pensioners, and the elderly, and the disabled. They deserve no less. In the KMTR, even with the purchase of the 70 buses that we are told will be added later this year, JUTC will have a huge gap in its operating fleet. There are only 170 reliable units, and this was not my figure of the former minister in his own presentation in sectoral, at the company today, when 550 are needed to take care of the needs of the over 500,000 transit-dependent persons in the KMTR daily. Government must be aware that in 2023, commuters will not accept waiting for hours to get a bus or other forms of public transport. They will find other options. Those days are gone and never to return. We have seen over the past few years, new players in the sector have entered the transport market. I speak of the ride-sharing apps, ride-sharing operators. There has to be some policy that guides how they operate in our country. We have similar locally owned ride-sharing businesses that have different rules. It is my belief that there should be one rule for all. This needs urgent attention and guidance from our policymakers. And so there are many deep issues to be explored today so that appropriate solutions may be devised to improve public transportation services in Jamaica. I'm happy to participate. I hope our deliberations will be thought-provoking and fruitful. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together again, please? So Mr. Michael Phillips, MP Opposition Spokesperson in the Ministry of Transport and Works. We thank you so much, sir, for being here with us this morning. Indeed, accountability is important, and no doubt about it that we have made some advancements, but we do have some work to do. And really, that is the reason why we are here today. And we thank you, sir, for your commitment to being a part, hands-on and involved in being a part of this modernization process. And we're hoping that you'll be with us for the rest of the day. Yes? Part of the day. Thank you so much, sir, for your remarks. So at this time, our next speaker, I'm sure, will also be coming to make some really valid points about where we are and why we are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, CDMP JP, the Minister of Local Governments and Community Development.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the Portfolio Minister, my colleague Daryl Vaz and the opposition spokesman who spoke so eloquently about what he intend to do if and I believe that was what was missing from the speech, the word if and when. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here this morning, and I feel a sense of pride that the Ministry of Local Government was invited to participate in this forum. There can be no distance between public transportation and local government, because I heard Michael spoke about lack of proper parking. While there is some truth to that, there are also instances where parking is provided, and I want to be a little bit parochial. If we go to Northern Trelawney, Clarkstown, the Ministry of Local Government, through the Trelawney Municipal Corporation, did extensive renovation to the Clarkstown Mart. And in that renovation, we spent close to $10 million putting in a transportation center for the purpose of having transport operators coming out of the town of Clarkstown, going into that location. I opened that facility about 2 years ago, and for the first couple of weeks, the operators were using it. Now they have gone back to square one. The center is empty and the town is congested. So when you look at the deliberations today, there also has to be some truth that is put on the table, that there is a certain level of indiscipline that is stagnating the industry. And if we don't accept, take steps to clean the industry of that element of disorder, then regardless if Michael, by some stroke of luck, become minister, we will still have that element in the system. Because he mentioned GOS. When I was a boy growing up, I used to live on Bond Street, and there was a number 17 bus stop on the opposite side of where I used to live. And I used to time the Patipan bus and know when to go out to up the bus. Yeah, up. And we would ride on the back of that bus up through Jonestown, coming into Rosestown, coming back on Spanish Town Road. The bus was on time. There was no disorder in the system. And I'm saying that as public transport operators who are providing a service, you need to take pride in the service that you offer. The Jamaican society accepts public passenger transportation. When you talk to many Jamaicans, they tell you the disrespect, the personal appearance, the lack of discipline on our roads. And the fact is that when we find these things happening and actions are taken, then we get an outcry about how abusive the system is. And because we are poor and we are trying to eat a food. You know, I was in I was in a South American country or a country close to us when I saw what their public transportation system was like. Almost similar like us here in Jamaica. But that country have a system in place where the law was respected. And I want to urge you, my small contribution to today's function is that let us build a transportation system, whether it is the one run by government or the one run by private enterprise. Let us build a transportation system that as Jamaicans, we can all feel proud of being players, whether we provide the service or whether we take the service. It has to be a part of the new dispensation. And we can no longer continue to accept that the society should remain the same. I don't want to leave a Jamaica for my grandchildren in the way that it is now. When we go to America, we join the line to go on the train and join the line to take the bus, you know. We don't stop in the road and pick up and let out passengers as we do. And it is not just the operators who are to be blamed. Those who are facilitating what you're doing must also share the blame. And one of the things that needs to be done is that the law needs to be looked at also. So if you see a man coming out of a vehicle in the middle of the road, you should also prosecute him too for being a part of creating public danger. And if we don't become serious about what we're doing, then all of the investments that you'd have made would come to nothing. So I urge you in this session today, and I'm glad to be a part of it, we are committing the Ministry of Local Government to work with the players in the industry to ensure that we improve and bring some level of credibility, decency to what is a needed service or public passenger transportation system. I thank you.
Thank you so much to the Honorable Desmond McKenzie for his eloquent address. Our Minister of Local Government and Community Development. Can we put our hands together again, please, for our Minister for making those very valid points, valid contributions. The responsibility is all of ours, operators, passengers alike, because when we talk about sustainability, it is going to take everyone's involvement. So the governments, they can build, they can put up every single parking space necessary. Even sometimes, even when we have policies in place that will say that we're going to be prosecuted, in fine Jamaican style, we want to test the system. So, you know, we try if it do it thing because we are Jamaican and we're bad. But the truth is, sustainability of this sector is going to take the discipline of everybody involved. And so we definitely have to play our part for sure for maintaining and taking this particular industry where we want to see it. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be inviting our main address will be given to us by the Honorable Daryl Vaz, MP, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and Transport. I ask that we please give him a rousing round of applause as he takes the podium.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and my new transport family. You know, when I came here, I immediately saw E.G. Hunt and I went and sat beside him. And then Debbie came and said, "You're at the head table." I didn't even realize that I was Minister of Transport. It's still, it is still so new to me. My colleague, Minister Desmond McKenzie, I want to thank you for saying so much of what I would have liked to say, but I can't say it so early. So you were able to say it in your usual style, and of course it resonated so well. But obviously, as a new minister, you want to make sure that we find a way to be collaborative. Members of the head table, my colleague, MP, and friend Michael, I see you asking for another seat. You have one already, but you can be assured that in my usual style, that you will be invited to sit on any committee that I have that is in the interest of transport and the people of Jamaica. I have a excellent working relationship with your colleagues in the other portfolios that I'm responsible, and they will tell you that I do nothing without consulting them and paying them the highest of respect. We're all elected representatives, and we must make sure that we work despite the fact, because maybe one day, as Desmond said, maybe one day, we don't know when that day is, the shoe will be on a different foot. So you must always remember that. So, colleagues, good morning to you all. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here. And as I said, uh, God doesn't sleep. He only puts on his pajamas, because this conference could never have been timed better for a new minister coming in to get the opportunity, obviously, to start the collaboration right here in terms of all the stakeholders sitting down and spending a day to make sure and hear the suggestions that come from the industry so that we can make informed policies. I want to thank the outgoing board of the Transport Authority and all the other transport boards for their service. As you know, when a new minister comes, it's automatic that the boards fall away. And I want to thank Joe Shakir, the outgoing chairman, and the entire board of the Transport Authority. But to start off by saying that I invited former Commissioner Owen Ellington here because it is my intention to take to Cabinet in short order a recommendation for Owen Ellington to become the new chairman of the Transport Authority. So I'm pleased to welcome you to this transportation conference, and I'd like to thank each participant today for your willingness to share in this much needed discourse about our country's transportation sector. This new minister and government is determined to create the right conditions for a people-centered, safe and reliable transport system with as little negative effect on the environment as possible. For this to be achieved, we must unite to explore and implement the policies and practices that best serve our common goal. This conference, as the theme suggests, is about looking towards a fulsome approach to modernizing public transport for a sustainable future. Bringing all the players together is critical to energize the focus and to focus our attention on transforming the transportation landscape for the betterment of everyone. Public transport, as Miguel said, is an integral part of a country's economy. It contributes to industry growth and development, the social fabric of a people, and to the economic well-being of the nation. In other words, public transport is like a blueprint of the society, a master plan of how to accomplish specific or desired results from a program of action. Therefore, we must ensure that our public transport plan and actions include the movement of people, goods, and services from point to point daily. Going to work, moving for leisure and pleasure, going to school or church, etc., in the most orderly, sustainable, and safe way. It is therefore reasonable for our laws governing this sector to be up to date, current, and enforced. The laws must support the best interests of the commuting public, the public passenger operators who invest their time and resources to provide service, the commercial carriers who distribute goods and support manufacturing, other private motorists who share the space on our roads, and last but by no means least, the Transport Authority, the regulating arm of government for public passenger transport services and commercial carriers. It is to be noted that time and time again, the laws and regulations are reviewed and amended to meet demands and to reflect emerging trends in the transportation industry. In 2022, the Road Traffic Act 2018 was brought into force in support of our efforts to modernize, reform, and secure our country's road culture. Now we are well on our way with the enactment of the Transport Authority Amendment Act 22 and Regulations 2023. A final review of the draft in the Regulations 2023 has been completed and instructions will be sent to the Chief Parliamentary Council in short order for its finalization and submission to Parliament. The Transport Authority Amendment Act was passed on August 26, 2022, and now awaits the finalization of the accompanying regulations to bring into force by Gazette notice. It is imperative that all the operators are aware that the current Act of 1987, while outdated, is still in force until the new Act and regulations are promulgated. The new Act will see the Transport Authority being given additional responsibilities. Some of those include delegation of function, which does not preclude the authority from carrying out such function it delegates. For example, if it wishes to enter into contract with a transport service operator to provide and install taximeters. Offenses by public passengers, this is a vexed issue where oftentimes drivers, conductors, or passengers are abused by other passengers with no redress. The amended law deems this behavior an offense and the passenger will be liable for prosecution. Varied expiration dates. I thought I'd have gotten a big round of applause for that. Varied expiration dates. For years, we have had a congested licensing period where all licenses are required to be renewed by a specific deadline. To reduce this chaos and improve efficiency, the proposal in the new Transport Authority Act 22 is that individuals will renew on the date of their birthday, and in the case of companies, on the anniversary date of its incorporation. Again, very, very low-hanging fruit and very, very common sense approach. No different to your firearm license or whatever other license that you have. Establishment of a public transport appeals tribunal. Under this tribunal, if a person is aggrieved by the decisions of the authority or any agent thereof, such persons may make an appeal and have their issues ventilated. The members of the appeals tribunal will be recommended by the authority for approval by the minister. Public transport infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, for the effective and efficient carrying out of the authority's functions, there needs to be focused attention on other areas of public transport services, including adequate infrastructure. We understand the current state of our physical infrastructure is woefully inadequate, and as a people, we need to start a conversation with our partners about how to fix the issue. This infrastructure includes what is not limited to bus stops, e.g., you hear that? Parking areas, bus and taxi terminals, as Minister Mackenzie spoke about a while ago, and other issues. This requires a joined-up approach across government and the private sector. And let me just state that I am still getting my briefs and learning the sector, but I believe that to learn best is not to sit behind your desk and read papers. It is to go out in the field and experience firsthand what is happening at these locations. So, you know, Desmond, when I was doing the speech and reviewing it, I remember as a youngster, I must have been about 16, in 1980, when former Minister and MP Pernell Charles was Minister of Transport. And he became so popular, Hurricane Charles, because he was on the road. He used to drive a Volvo. Never forget it as long as I live. And he lived on the road, making sure to see firsthand and work with the stakeholders. And that had a lasting impression on me. And you can rest assured that I will be out there, not only out there to examine the depots, but I'll be out there to take the JUTC bus and to see how long it takes me to get from A to B and to arbitrarily take the route taxis because I want to see exactly what the people are going through. So I can tell you, new Chairman Ellington and the Transport Authority, you better get ready and put on your sneakers. And Mikey, you will be right beside me. But you won't be driving the bus. I'll be driving the bus. Ladies and gentlemen, public transport is regarded by the population as a key enabler of national prosperity and development. It is a preferred choice for commuter movement, both for work and leisure. The system, therefore, ought to be characterized by efficiency, convenience, safety and security, reliability, affordability, and pleasant experiences. A system that contributes to improve commuter confidence, assured public safety, positive impact on the natural environment through the reduction of pollution, markedly reduced traffic congestion, and increasingly dependable in supporting the expansion of commercial activities right across Jamaica as well. My vision is to see a public transport sector operated by persons who appreciate the social and economic value of delivering a safe, reliable, efficient, and decent transport service to the benefit of the country's development and the well-being of our citizens. We need a public transport service that inspires investors to build out both commercial and residential infrastructure across our national landscape with the confidence that ease of commute and the movement of goods will be guaranteed in a safe, fast, convenient, and affordable way. I wish for a system that enables citizens from all walks of life to share in the experience of consistently high quality public transport service and be proud of it. It will take significant efforts to ensure that this vision becomes a reality. And this includes several key elements such as the restoration of passenger rail service connecting the cities of Kingston to large population centers across the immediate outskirts of the city, and of course, eventually to Montego Bay. We also want to see the expansion and more efficient services of the JUTC, and this may lead to expanding routes. But we can't expand routes with 140 or 160 buses with an optimum of between 400 and 500. So I can say that the Minister of Finance would have indicated in his budget presentation that there will be 200 buses that will be ordered in the next financial year and thereafter, which will be 24, 25, 25, 26. The Prime Minister has indicated to me that we cannot wait that long. So I leave him to deal with the Minister of Finance while I start the procurement for 100 JUTC buses immediately. That at least, Mikey, adding to the 75 that's coming, which include 5 electric buses, which I believe that we should be cautious on new technology, and we don't want to go in. I just heard a story about Barbados, who ordered electric buses, and 30% of the fleet is down and out already because of issues. So I think we need to be careful in relation to watching what unfolds, while obviously seeking to do away with diesel buses and more go towards the liquid natural gas and electric as possible options. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Montego Bay Metro service must be revamped and extended to other townships such as Lucy, Falmouth, Sav, and St. Anne's Bay. Massive investments in the construction of urban and rural transport centers in parish capitals and townships are also needed to regulate facilities for orderly interaction between passengers and all key stakeholders in the delivery of transport services. So again, I listened to what Minister Mackenzie said, and that's something that we can work, Minister Mackenzie, from local government on to identify the right locations and, of course, to deal with that matter in a collaborative manner. Additionally, deliberate moves must be made to reduce, if not eliminate, the long-standing tension between the private transport operators and the regulators, and seek instead to promote a respectful, harmonious, and working relationship that results in the delivery of high-quality service, whilst recognizing the need for operators to recover from their investment. Most of all, ladies and gentlemen, we must ensure that the regulatory service provided by the government is characterized by efficiency, transparency, and a clear understanding of the legitimate concerns and expectations of all transport stakeholders. And let me pause on that to say that the big stick approach has never worked in Jamaica. You get more out of using moral suasion than the big stick. So this minister, most of you know me or know of me, is one who is always accessible and available and always prepared to listen and to agree or to agree to disagree, but in a respectful way and format. So, ladies and gentlemen, private operators in the public transport system must recognize that the public pays for and expects quality service delivered with courtesy and in a manner compliant with the laws of the land, chiefly the Road Traffic Act. The culture of law breaking, recklessness, and lack of care for the safety of passengers must stop. And I will see to that as one of my mandates as a new minister. It is unacceptable to see what takes place on the road on a daily basis. And it is not limited to public transport operators. It is also the gamut of the transport sector. You will see the most expensive SUV, millions and millions of dollars. And what you see them do shows that they are no different to what we are complaining about in the public transport sector. So even as I commit to do all that I possibly can to make the operations of the private investors in the public transport system a profitable and worthwhile investment, I'm equally determined to move from the system those who continue to demonstrate a lack of capacity or willingness to operate within the law. And we only need to look at what has taken place with the traffic tickets saga, where these persons have hundreds of tickets. That system is being revamped now, and that system will have teeth, and those teeth will bite where necessary. So we must be strategic and deliberate in our efforts to reform this sector and make it safe and beneficial to all. I want to thank the Transport Authority and its stakeholders for their efforts to stage this conference and open the space for dialogue. I'm a strong believer in that. Dialogue, you get better results than handing down dictates. The authority is positioned for the task of modernizing public transport for a sustainable future of the sector and the economic growth of the country. The new laws will assist in the advancement. So let us work together, as together we are stronger and will achieve more. And I am very aware that there are some concerns in relation to the new Road Traffic Act, and we will discuss those in the right place at the right time and see what can be done, because there's nothing that happens as a first draft that is perfect. It is a work in progress, but it's something that we have to do, and we have to do it in short order. All will not be happy, but that has always been the case. So again, as the new transport minister, I commit to you that this is a new day. The history of what has transpired and all that has happened is good to learn from. But if we concentrate on the past, we will never be able to move towards the future in a cohesive manner. I thank you very much, and I look forward to the support of each and every one of you. And as I said, you will have my full attention. I know that there are concerns about the ministry and the fact that a part of the ministry is gone to me and another part is gone to Minister Floyd Green. I trust the Prime Minister's judgment, and I trust that he has given transport to the right minister at the right time. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Honorable Daryl Vaz. Mike is yours, sir.
I had a part of my speech, and I could not. I know that I could not finish without saying it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute. A rural transportation system specific to school children. As a rural MP, and I see Mikey nodded his head, what obtains is absolutely unacceptable. School kids in my constituency are leaving their home from 2 to 30 in the morning to be able to get to school by 8 o'clock and reaching back home as late as 10 o'clock. Some areas have no service whatsoever, and they have to walk miles, which is something that used to happen in EG's young days. So I am telling you now, I won't get into the details, but I have a 2-pager already that has been prepared for me in how we can implement this. And this is a near and dear to me, and we will be working on this, and you will hear more about this sooner than later, because it is not conducive for these youngsters that we are depending on to lead this country in generations to come to be able to be exposed to that. There's no way that they can learn under those conditions. So just to say that it would be remiss of me if I did not state that clearly, that this will be a charge and a mandate that I'll be given to be implemented in the shortest possible time.
Come on, we can do better than that. Please put your hands together for the Honorable Daryl Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications, and now Transport. Thank you so much, sir. And I know that the transportation sector is very happy to have you, of course, representing and leading this sector. And we are excited about what's to come for the Transport Authority and also the public sector, the public transport sector. Very happy to hear about the rural transportation plans, because I can tell you, as a country girl, you know, oh Lord, I used to go to Clarendon College. I'm telling you, we have to wake up before, as a mother would have said, cock crow, right? Just to be sure that we're out there so we can get to school on time. So I know that the persons who may be tuning in online and also via our streaming platforms as well, that they're very happy to hear about the new plans coming forth. And also happy to hear that the minister, we're going to be seeing him at the bus stops waiting for his taxi. Minister, from my experience, unannounced. From my experience, sir, just make sure you don't have no $5,000 bill early in the morning or $1,000 bill, right? You want change in the early morning because it's a pain for the taxi operators. You don't have the $5,000 bill, right? You need change, exactly. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm very happy as well to hear, Minister. And I know you've always understood the importance of this, that dialogue is important to have everybody at the table when we're making these kinds of plans to move, Jamaica forward, but specifically our transport sector forward, and understanding that the concerns of all the members of the system and our people is absolutely important so that everyone feels heard, seen, and understood. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the part of the program where we're going to be presenting some certificates of recognition to a few taxi operators, the taxi associations. They are deserving of this recognition. So, I'm going to be announcing the names. I'm going to be inviting our MD to come forward along with our minister at this time at the front of the stage. Thank you so much. The Honorable Minister Vaz is going to ask you that you join our MD as well to make these presentations. And as I call your names, please come on up to collect your certificate. We want to make sure that you feel recognized this morning. First up, we have a long list, so we're going to go through them quickly. I ask that you, as you hear your name, you come forward. From the St. Anne Taxi Association, Jamaica Limited, we're inviting Stephanie Williams to come forward. From St. Anne, Stephanie? Stephanie here? Stefan, got you. Stefan is here. He's not here, so you're here. No problem. Thank you so much for representing Stefan. And we say thanks to the St. Anne Taxi Association, Jamaica Limited. We're also inviting from the Great Pond Taxi Association, Mr. Prince Hall, or his representative. We thank you so much, sir, for your contribution. Again, these are a presentation of certificates of recognition to the taxi associations. Yes, you can certainly give them an applause. In the parish of St. Catherine, we're inviting the Old Harbor Taxi Association, Valerie Virtue, to come forward. Miss Valerie, come on up. Still in St. Catherine Taxi Association Limited, Vinroy Morrison. Oh, you're representing Vinroy too. You should just stay side stage.
We're going to break away from this live feed. Thank you all for watching. On behalf of all of us here at the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel, thank you very much. Our producer, Owen Brown, I'm Jeffrey Tavares saying thank you all for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good evening.
From the St. John's Road Taxi Association, Vincent Cole. From the Spanish Town Road Taxi Association, Aaron Mattis. Giving your best side? That's right. I'm not sure if this is marked out, but I'll call the name nevertheless. Bogwalk and Linstead Taxi Association, Mikhail Taff. I'm not sure if he's here. Michelle? My apologies. Michelle, is Michelle here? Oh, there we go. Hi, Auntie Michelle. Good to see you. And can we please put our hands together for all the associations in St. Catherine? As we move into my home parish of Clarendon, we're inviting Alan Blair from the Maypen Taxi Operators Association to come forward. And also in Clarendon, the Veer Taxi Association Limited, Frederick Bryan. Thank you so much, Mr. Blair. Mr. Frederick Bryan coming up to collect his certificate. As we move into the parish of St. Elizabeth, we're inviting Sean Buckner from the St. Elizabeth Taxi Association Limited to come forward. Sean? Oh, you're representing Sean. Wow. So you're in, yeah, man, you're in St. Catherine, St. Elizabeth. That's fine. From the Southern Taxi Association, we're inviting Charles Powell to come forward. Charles is not here? Oh, you're representing. All right, no problem. And from the Black River Santa Cruz Taxi Association, Lorna Foster. Is Lorna here? And Lorna rounds out our associations from the parish of St. Elizabeth. Put your hands together, please, for Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. And we're moving into the parish of Manchester. We're inviting Emeka Simpson from the Mandeville Taxi Association Limited. Oh, you are representing. I tell you should just stay side stage. That's the last one, you sure? What is your name? Let me call you by Miss Sophia Campbell. There we go. Representing everybody. Thank you so much, Miss Sophia. We're inviting, let me see. This is a streak. It's a Silver Streak Taxi Association. Sandra Bygrave, Bradford. Is she here? Come on up, Miss Bradford from Manchester. Thank you so much. As we move into St. Mary, we're inviting Stanford Stewart from the Orekabessa Taxi Association to come forward. He always, oh, Mr. Stanford is a former director. Oh, that's why it's gliding like that. The Stanford is my place to sit down. I'm not going to move no faster than right. Thank you so much, Sir Stanford. What? Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you, Mr. Stanford. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you, Mr. Stanford. Happy birthday! Mr. Stanford, you get prize for your birthday, man.
Thank you all very much for watching.
77. No, give him a big round of applause, please. Able and strong, same way. Mr. Stanford, that's why you come out look so trash though. In your Converse shoes. And your Jamaica belt. No, man. I'm dressed and send you out this morning. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Stanford. 77. Wow. Incredible.